Welcome to another Thursday night live stream with your host, JC. Hey everybody, JC here, and welcome. Sorry about that. JC here, and welcome to another live stream. So I talked about this on Monday, where I'm kind of playing with the idea of like doing news as a live stream as opposed to pre-recorded. So just kind of playing with that. And so a lot of focus for today's live stream is going over the latest action figure news. So I thought we would start off with some Marvel news. The big news of the day, the Marvel Legends Cabal 3-pack went up for pre-order this morning on Amazon. So a bit of a snafu to kick things off with that set. So let me just jump over. So if you want an in-hand look at the set, Hasbro apparently sent Robo from the Robo Don't Know channel, formerly of Fwoosh, an early sample to review, so you can actually get an in-hand look at this set now. So these are some images that Robo took. Again, he actually has this set in hand already, though he does actually have to send it back to Hasbro after he's reviewed it. But you can check out his full review on his YouTube channel. Again, Robo Don't Know. But the snafu, of course, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, is the price. So you can see here, Amazon still hasn't fixed the price. It's being listed at $99.99, $100, and that is not the correct price for this set. This set is supposed to only cost $74.99. According to Hasbro's Dan Young, who posted on X this morning, he said they are working to fix it. So at some point it will be adjusted to the correct price. You know, Amazon obviously isn't making this a priority since it's been listed at this incorrect price for over 3 hours now. I'm going to assume Amazon will, when they finally fix it, anyone who pre-ordered it already at the $99.99 price, they will just adjust the price at that time. I guess it's possible they might just cancel the pre-orders and then you'll have to pre-order it at the correct price, but likely they'll just adjust it. My only hesitation about pre-ordering it at the incorrect price, it's not that I think they're going to charge you the full amount, but you know, if they go and look at some point down the road and say, oh, look at all these people that were willing to pay $100 for 3 figures, you know, that might send a message that I think some of you probably don't want to send for future releases. So I'm going to pre-order it, but I'm going to wait until they actually adjust the price. I don't think this is going to sell out, especially at the $100 price tag. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think it's going to sell out like super fast or anything. So I'm waiting for them to fix the price and then I'll pre-order it. But it is a pretty cool set. At first I was kind of iffy on the Iron Patriot figure, because when I first saw the initial images that we saw yesterday, I was like, that those paint applications to me look more like something that you would see on a kid's toy. But as I've seen the additional images and everything, it's kind of grown on me. The other two, the Taskmaster figure, it is incorporating the Vulcan body as opposed to the Bucky Cap body that the original Taskmaster that Hasbro did, or the original classic Taskmaster that Hasbro did, used. So you do get like butterfly joints. And there's some other minor changes to the figure. Again, if you want to go watch Robo's video, he gives you a really up-close look at it. But to me, for that one, while I like the Taskmaster figure and he's a cool character, I'm pretty happy with the one that I already had. So I'm like, I look at this one and I'm like, there's just not enough difference here for me to be like, this is something that I really want to add to my collection. Now, if you don't have any of these figures at all, if you don't have the Doom, you don't have the Taskmaster, then this is 100%, I think, a must get set. I mean, assuming you like these characters at all, but the Doom again is a reissue pretty much with some minor alterations to it. You do get a soft goods cape on this version. So, if you have that throne that Robo showing here, which is from a Diamond Select Toys Doctor Doom figure, then, he can actually sit in the throne, which is nice. And some other, this skirt piece is a little bit shorter, which I think looks better. Again, some other minor paint alterations and stuff. But again, I look at this and I'm like, yeah, it's a bit improved, but just not so much so that it's really something that I want to add to my collection. So for me, really, the main attraction is the Iron Patriot figure, which I think is based loosely off of the Extremis Iron Man armor, and with some alterations to it, but it's altered enough that it's not just like a straight up repaint of that Iron Man figure. And then you get the unmasked Osborn head as well. So that is really the main attraction to me, which of course, even at the correct $75 price tag, I'm like, $75 for really one figure I want. It's kind of, it was one I really kind of debated. And like I say, for now, I'm going to pre-order it. I could maybe cancel the pre-order at some point, but I probably won't. But definitely, it is annoying when Hasbro throws in a new figure with figures that essentially they've already done. Um, if they'd released the Iron Patriot as a single release, I would 100%, get it. But I probably will still end up getting it. Now, as far as the price, why did Amazon list it at $100 price tag? I think the reason for that, and this is only speculation on my part, but originally the rumors, the leaked listings for this set had suggested this was going to be a 4-pack with a Loki figure, and obviously, it's a 3-pack. So my guess is at some point between when they initially solicited the figure and they released it, they removed the fourth figure. If they had been 4 figures, then $25 a piece, it would have come out to the $100 price tag. And somebody forgot to let Amazon know that it was only a 3-pack, not a 4-pack, and adjust the price. So I think that's why it got listed incorrectly. That's my speculation, but I think that's what happened there. So, but again, Dan Yun has said that they are aware that the price is listed incorrect and that it is the $99.99 is an incorrect price, and that they are working to get it fixed. So, sorry. So, yeah. So, I mean, like I say, if you decide to go on pre-order it now, I'm sure they will adjust the price, so they're not going to charge you $100. My only hesitation of pre-ordering it while it's listed at $100 is I just don't want to send that message that says, "Hey, I don't really care if you're charging me $100 for 3 figures. I'm willing to pay that." All right, so sorry, now my mouse is acting up. One of the downsides of a live stream is technical difficulties that you got to deal with. So let's see. Just a quick roll call. We've got Charles in the house, Judge Dredd's in the house, Mr. Allmine's in the house, Rashid's in the house. What's up? God Tank is in the house. Horn Viper, that Iron Patriot, yeesh. Yeah, again, that was kind of my first impression, but the more I'm looking at it, the more, I mean, I would have liked maybe a little more metallic finish to it, but it's actually not as bad as I initially thought. Jimmy, what's up? Dude, nah. Actually, it looked like it was spam. Nobody wants to talk to me. All right, so that is your Marvel Legend news update. So that wasn't the only Marvel news that we got today. Ugh, turn that thing on silent mode. All right, so that wasn't the only Marvel Legend news that we got today. We got a new Mezco 112 collective figure that went up for pre-order today. So Doctor Octopus. This is one that Mezco had teased a while back. Now I got to tell you. So first of all, I've said this before. I'm not personally a huge Mezco 112 collective fan. I'm not a fan of the cloth outfits on most of the figures. There are some 112 collective figures that I think look really good, and I own a few of them, but in general, I'm just not a huge. I was never a huge Mego fan. That's what these always remind me of, like high end Mego figures. So and Doc Ock here with his cloth outfit to me just doesn't look fantastic. I also feel like he looks a little thin. I feel like Doc's been on a diet or something. I feel like they need to make him a little heavier there. I will say he comes with a jacket, a scientific jacket, and he does look better when he's wearing the jacket. So if I got this figure, which I don't plan on getting it, but if I were to get it, I would definitely display him with the lab coat. And he does have tentacles and multi-size tentacles and stuff, so that's good. Um, Face sculpt looks decent. I mean, it looks pretty true to the comics with the big glasses and everything. So I don't know. If you've really been collecting all the Mezco stuff, especially the Marvel stuff, this is one that you're probably going to want to check out. The cost is $112. It is available for pre-order now. You can get it at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, the Mezco store, wherever you usually buy Mezco stuff should have this up for pre-order now. So again, Doc Ock to add to your 112 collective. You get 3 head sculpts, by the way, with this figure. So you get the smiling one, the gritting teeth, and then I guess the pouting Doc Ock you get with this one. It doesn't look like the glasses are removable on any of them. So I think the glasses are something you have to. It would have been almost kind of cool if they'd given us a head sculpt without the glasses, though. In this kind of classic look, I think he always had the glasses on. But yeah, so Doc Ock, that's pretty much it for Marvel news. So let's jump into some McFarlane. So announced today, if we saw these at WonderCon, I think it was WonderCon a month or so ago, the Batman Forever figures. So which will have the Man Bat thing from Bruce Wayne's dream in that movie as the Build a Figure. So you get Riddler, Two Face, Robin, and Batman in this wave. And this is going to be going up for pre-order on June 7th. So let me just confirm that date. Yeah, June 7th is when these figures will be going up for pre-order. And I guess IGN is holding a live event where McFarlane's going to be showing the figures off. So we'll get, I guess, in-hand looks at these figures along with the official images and stuff on that day. Now, while we're on the subject of Batman Forever, we've gotten some new product listings for that have shown up from the overseas e-tailers. So, of course, not yet officially confirmed by McFarlane Toys, but generally 9 times out of 10, in fact, I'd almost say 10 times out of 10, these end up being correct. Uh, we do have a Batman Forever Batmobile coming with an Alfred figure. So, and I've seen listings for a gold label version as well that is said to glow. The neon effect with the wheels and everything, like you would see in the movie. So it's not going to actually light up, but I guess there's going to be a gold label version that has essentially glow in the dark effect for that Batmobile. And I don't know if that's going to come with a figure or not. but the regular version will come with Alfred. And I don't know if that will be going up for pre-order on the 7th along with the figures. I would kind of think they would, but I can't say that for sure. There's going to be a Jonah Hex 2-pack with the General. So that's going to be some type of store exclusive. It's a gold label figure. Shining Knight from the Seven Soldiers of Victory. The Question, the character The Question, is going to be getting a DC Multiverse figure. Hugo Strange as Batman is getting a figure. Bullseye Batman is getting a figure. Uh, uh, Batman animated multi-pack with Poison Ivy, Livewire, and Supergirl. I think those are reissues of the original DC Direct figures. Is getting some type of store exclusive. The Joker Dragon, you might remember that, is getting a gold label glow in the dark version. And then there's going to be a Dick Grayson, this Batman figure coming, and Batman from Superman World's Finest is coming to the line as well. So those are your latest McFarlane toy listings, which again have not yet been officially confirmed by McFarlane. And then, of course, yesterday, Darkseid, we talked about this on Monday. Darkseid went up for pre-order, and as I suspected, sold out very quickly. In 38 minutes, it went up on Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, the McFarlane Store, and all those places were sold out within about 38 minutes for it after it went up. Now, I will tell you, this morning I saw GameStop had it listed still. I haven't checked it here recently to see if it's still available there. But this morning, GameStop put this figure up for pre-order. So you might if you wanted to pre-order this and you missed out yesterday, you might want to check GameStop. Target at some point will probably put this online as well. But right now, they have not. So, and like I said, the places that had it up yesterday all sold out pretty quickly. And we talked about this on Monday as well. As far as the price, it was $40, which you get the 2 head sculpts, you get the soft goods cape with the wiring in it, and you get the multiple pairs of hands. So the typical mega figure price, which is $40, but I was almost expecting it to be closer to 50, just because we were getting things like alternate heads and stuff. Eric says a movie Alfred is definitely tempting. Yeah, I would agree with you there. I like when they finally gave us Alfred from the 66 Batman series, I pre-ordered that one. Am I getting the Tumbler? I am not getting the Tumbler. I am not a huge fan of the Tumbler. It's probably my least favorite Batmobile. And honestly, I don't have room for all these different Batmobiles. I think it's cool that Todd is giving us all these Batmobiles, and he pretty much has said in the past that he plans on giving us all the Batmobiles from all the different movies and stuff. So, he seems to be, and even from different versions from the comics and stuff. So, I think it's cool he's doing that. It's just for me personally, I don't have a ton of space, so. I got the 89 Batmobile. I got both the Flash version and the classic version. And we're supposed to get a reissue of the one from the Batman animated series that DC directed back in the day. I still have my DC Direct one. That's a great vehicle as well. So if you're a fan of Batman the animated series and you missed out on the original DC Direct, I don't know when it's going to go up for pre-order, but McFarlane is supposed to be reissuing that one as well. I would definitely recommend that one. Eric says the animated series figures are always tempting. I collected them back when DC Direct did them. They're nice. They look very true to their appearances in the cartoon. Unfortunately, they have very tiny joints, and those figures do have a tendency to break fairly easy, and they don't stand very good. You do get the figure stands, but trying to stand those figures is definitely a real chore, but they look dead on to what they're representing. I have not picked up any of the ones that McFarlane has done, but I did have all those ones that DC the original DC directed back in the day. Corn Viper, if Mattel still had the license, all the Batmobiles would be crowd funds. Yeah, I mean, you got to give Todd credit. I mean, they are just essentially hollow pieces of plastic, so they're not super elaborate vehicles, but they are generally affordable, and they make for cool display pieces. So, you know, I think it's pretty easy to convince a retailer to carry something like a Batman related Batmobile as opposed to like say an obscure vehicle like Ghost Rider's car, but definitely it's nice that those are general releases and fairly affordable. For me, again, it really comes down more to space than price or anything. I just if I had the room to display everything, I'd buy everything, but unfortunately, I'm limited. The back, John, you're talking about the DC Direct one. Yeah, I have that one. You probably see it behind me there. That's a great set as well. So is the Batwing they did. Those are all. I didn't get the Joker mobile that they just recently released, which DC Direct had originally planned to release and then canceled because essentially they were closed shop. But I have all those DC Direct ones, and they're great. The Bat Cycle, the Batwing, the Batmobile, the Batcave. Yeah. And I feel like the Batcave will get reissued at some point. I feel like um, McFarlane will end up doing that at some point. Judge Dredd says he did the 66 Bat. Yeah, but the 66 Batcave is basically some cardboard and a couple of small pieces of plastic. The Batman animated series Batcave is a much nicer place. It costs more, but as it lights up, and it's one of the few things where technically it's battery powered, but they included essentially a place to put in an AC plug in the back. So if you just go out and buy an AC plug, you can actually plug it in so you can keep it lit all the time. Again, I don't know how well you can see it back there, but I keep mine lit up all the time. The back computer. So I like that they actually made it so you could like plug it in, not be battery powered, and could keep it lit up all the time. Mr. Allmine, yeah, Joker. I am a little. I agree with you. I was a little surprised to see, but keep in mind it's a Target exclusive, so they're the only ones selling it. It is Batman related. It was already made. Essentially, DC Direct had it ready to go, and then Warner Brothers essentially closed them up. So I mean, that thing had basically been sitting in mothballs since 2019. And so as far as production costs and stuff, it was probably not that great, so they could that probably helped maybe keep the price down a little bit. um but yeah, I was a little surprised to see them carrying that as well. All right, so let's see what else do we have. So let's jump over to NECA. So NECA, is, for you Predator fans, is doing a Predator bone throne diorama element set. So this one's going to cost you $100, and that is the correct price. So I'm not a huge Predator fan, and for $100, I'm kind of like my Predators can stand. I mean, it's a cool looking throne. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure I'd be willing to pay $100 for that. But somebody told me that $100 was a great price for a throne like this, so I'll take their word for it. But yeah, this is going to be $100 for you Predator fans. It is going to be offered on the NECA store, so it's a NECA store exclusive. It's going to be going up for pre-order on June 19th, or I'm sorry, that's when pre-orders close. It's going up for pre-order. Let's see, when is the actual pre-order? Oh, maybe it's already up. Maybe it went up today. Yeah, okay. So it is available for pre-order now. So you can go over to the NECA store and pre-order it now. And you've got till June 19th to make up your mind if this is, it's a made to pre-order type thing. So you don't have to worry about selling out. But pre-orders will close on this on June 19th. So, and then also from NECA, we got that Vincent Price figure. We talked about this a little bit on Monday, but it has gone up for pre-order. Going to cost you about $36.99. Does not come with the chair, the cool chair that they showed with in some of the images, but they pretty much, I would say, nailed the likeness for Vincent Price pretty good here. So if you're classic horror Vincent Price fan, these are the accessories you get: the black cat, the skull, record, a little book, little, I don't know if that's coffee or tea, but you get some alternate clothes pieces, so you can either have the ascot or the bow tie or the tie. So that's kind of cool. You get multiple head sculpts. So you get younger looking Vincent Price, and then you get a more older looking Vincent Price. So that's kind of cool as well. And again, this one is available for pre-order now. You can get it pretty much anywhere that carries NECA products, including, of course, our sponsors, Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. So this is the first. This went up while I was getting ready to go live, so this is my first time looking at these. But Mondo has some soft vinyl Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. These, I guess, look like are for pre-order at Entertainment Earth now for $90 each. So if you're a Turtle fan, let's see how tall these are said to be 8 inches tall. So, and speaking of Turtle, we got some news from Joy Toy, who they make like Acid Rain figures. That's what I know them mostly for. Acid Rain, Warhammer as well. So they do a lot of Warhammer stuff. But these are essentially 4-inch fit. They specialize in the smaller 4-inch scale stuff. So it sounds like they're going to be doing 4-inch turtle figures here. We don't have a lot of details, but 1/18 scale turtle figures. So Joy Toy made that announcement today for you turtle fans. Of course, everybody and their uncle seems to do turtle figures these days. So Nickelodeon has really let that license, pretty much go out to everybody who wants it. Let's see what. If you're a Power Ranger fan, you can get the Black Ranger from the Dino Thunder that's in stock at Entertainment Earth. If you use the code Toy News Eye, you can get 10% off for any in-stock items at Entertainment Earth. And then if you spend $79, you can get free shipping within the USA. A little bit of movie news for you He-Man fans. So, it was announced several weeks ago that Amazon was taking over from Netflix, and this is supposed to be a theatrical release. It's being done by Amazon Studios, but it's supposed to actually end up getting released in theaters. But they've casted their supposedly the person who will be playing He-Man, Nicholas Galitzine, I guess is how you say his name. And we don't have images of the actor on the site, but do a quick Google. And this is the guy apparently who is going to be playing He-Man. Now I got to tell you, I'm not really that familiar with this guy, so he might be a good actor, but he looks really puny. And I feel like the people in Hollywood don't seem to understand that He-Man is supposed to be a really muscular guy, because every time we get these casting news for He-Man, it always seems like they're picking people who are not very muscular. So I don't know if it's that hard to come by muscular people who can act decently, but I don't know. So we'll wait and see with the He-Man movie news, live action movie news. I'm like, I take it all with a grain of salt because we've gotten so many announcements over the years and different casting announcements and directors and all that, and it never seems to materialize. So definitely, I'll believe it when I see it. Hey, somebody in the last on Monday's video had made a comment about this Thunder tank that's being not is being done through Lego Ideas. Well, not being done, it's been proposed through Lego Ideas. So if you're not familiar with Lego Ideas, people submit their own ideas. Essentially, Lego gets people to design stuff for them for free, I guess, and then people vote on it. There are other things that go into it, but each year they pick certain sets and they end up actually producing them as actual Lego sets. So apparently there is a Thunder tank by Zenith is the author of this tank. I don't know, even if this got a ton of like votes, things like licensing and stuff has to come into play. So I don't know if Lego would be able to get the Thundercats license, but right now it's got only 730 supporters, and I want to say that's probably not a lot. And it's got 393 days left. So if you want a Lego Thunder tank, you might want to head over to the Lego's idea site and cast your vote for it. This morning we got more exclusives that went up on the Jazzwares Vault website, including actually I just want to see if these are actually still available. Maybe today's stuff sold out because I'm not seeing it listed anymore. Oh no, here it is. So Ring of Honor, Dan Hassan, for you Dan Hassan fans, is available. Going to cost you $30. Got a soft goods keep. Now I know who Dan Hassan is just from, I know he's like a big toy collector, but I've never seen him wrestle. But I'm told he's a pretty good wrestler, and he's got a kind of a cool, I guess he has a split personality as his character. I've been getting back into wrestling a bit with WWE. I have been watching WWE regularly, but I have not watched any AEW stuff. And though I'm hearing that he might be leaving AEW here, which would be interesting if he ended up in the WWE. I guess he's good friends with CM Punk, who of course is in the WWE again. So be interested to see if he ended up joining Punk in the WWE. But anyway, so those new batch of exclusives, we've been getting these like on an almost weekly basis. These figures from Jazzwares. So you can go over to their Vault website and check that out. Just kind of scanning down. I've kind of touched base on the main things. This Voltron 40th anniversary set from Playmates Toys. You can buy the individual lions. I think have been available at places like Target, but now like the e-tailers, you can either buy them as individuals or there's a box set. So the box sets cost you about $100. So if you don't want to try and hunt down the individual lions, you can just buy the box set. Another one we talked about on Monday, the Reveltech Ninja Gaiden figure. So this did go up for pre-order the next day at Big Bad Toy Store. So $120 at Big Bad Toy Store. You get 5 pairs of hands, alternate arms, a pair of boots, dragon sword, chain weapon. So looks pretty good. I'm not a big enough Ninja Gaiden fan to want to buy a figure, but if you are, this definitely looks like is pretty nice. And I feel like the Revoltech stuff, I think, like, is constantly improving. Like, used to be the proportions on a lot of those Revoltech figures were really kind of out of whack, and I feel like they've definitely gotten better over the years. Oh, we got for you Megan fans. I don't know why this character has become so popular, but it seems like everybody's doing Megan. NECA's doing them now. Mondo's doing it. Um, but Mondo's got this one, which is a 1/6 scale figure, so a 12-inch figure. It's available in the Mondo shop, $215. So, but looks really good. I mean, it looks straight out of the movie. I've not actually seen the movie though, to be honest. I guess the actual figure stands 9.5 inches. So it's a 1/6 scale, but the actual figure itself is 9.5. So, like I say, NECA has done or is doing a Megan figure as well. I know they're doing an ultimate version, I think, and then I think they did a life size version, I want to say, as well. Eric, oh, yeah. So from Skybound, essentially they are doing a Kickstarter to reprint all of the old GI Joe comics. So you got the Cobra and the GI Joe edition. Again, it's being done as a Kickstarter, and looks like quite successfully because wow, they're currently the goal was 50,000 and they're over a million. Woo! With 2,960 backers. So I have all the original Marvel GI Joe comics, so like I don't really need to get something like this, but those were great comics. I mean, hell, if it wasn't for those comics, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today because the comics led me into the toys, the toys led me into other toys, and uh, cartoon helped too. But those original Marvel comics for GI Joe were some of my first comic books. So, does the Demon Sword included on the Ninja Gaiden figure? I want to say that was a Kyoto exclusive, but let me. So with the version at Big Bad Toy Store, you get the figure, an alternate pair of arms, 5 pairs of interchangeable hands, a pair of boots, dragon sword, chain sword, two shurikens, and a stand. So this one, I believe, was like a Kyoto exclusive. I want to say. Mondo is looking good. I'm hoping they do a 6.5-inch line of Thundercats and just because other companies are doing essentially that scale, I would tend to doubt it. But who knows? They're doing real Ghostbusters, so let's see how Mondo does with the real Ghostbusters 6-inch figures before. Let's see if they can give us good figures for that line before. Because to me, when you do a larger scale figure, there are differences. So, I mean, Mondo has proven themselves, I feel like, pretty strongly in the 12-inch genre, but like I say, the real Ghostbusters will really be kind of their first entry into like 6-inch scale type figures. So, Corn Viper. I just got into WWE. McIntyre is my favorite. Yeah, so I used to watch wrestling, WWE primarily, throughout much of my childhood through high school. And then when I went to college, I really didn't watch a lot of wrestling. So for about 4 years there, I kind of quit. But then I got back into it during the Attitude Era. But then when the whole Benoit thing happened, and if you don't know about the Benoit thing, but but that really kind of turned me off on wrestling with the steroids and all that junk. So I really kind of felt it was like it was kind of hard to like support wrestling and watching it. So, but when Vince McMahon finally got outed, not that he's hurting in any way because he still made tons and tons of money, but now that Vince McMahon is kind of out of WWE, I decided to start trying to watch it again, which I ended up watching this last WrestleMania and stuff, and so I've been watching it pretty steadily, both SmackDown um, and Raw since WrestleMania. Plus, I watched the most recent King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring pay per view, and then Backlash before that. So, and I got to be honest, I am not a fan of Logan Paul in any way as a person. I think he's a pretty scuzzy person. I mean, everything from the supposed crypto scam and things that he used to do on his YouTube channel. I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, but I to give him credit, I thought in the King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring pay per view, his match with Cody Rhodes, he did a pretty good job. I feel like if he was willing to spend more time, in WWE, he actually could be a pretty good wrestler, especially a heel wrestler. I think he has a talent to be a good heel wrestler. So, I still can't say as a person, as a human being, um, I can't really stand the guy, but I give him credit for, you know, giving us a pretty good match against Cody Rhodes. And I can't say so far. I mean, I remember when Cody first came in, I was still watching wrestling when Cody first came into the WWE. Um, and he came, like, I remember when he came in with, what was it? Ted DiBiase's kid, who I guess is in jail now. But I remember when he first came, and then like shortly after that is when I quit watching wrestling. So I haven't really followed Cody Rhodes' career, but I think he's a good wrestler. But I don't think he's strong on the mic. I don't think he's a very strong personality per se. And to me, wrestling is as much about the character and the performance of the character as the wrestling skill. If you can, if you're good on the mic and can give a good character presentation and you can wrestle, I mean, that those are your real champs. I mean, Hulk Hogan to me was, he's one of the first performers. I consider it as a performer, but I never really considered Hogan a super strong wrestler per se. His basically he would do his leg drop and such, but um but you get some of these guys that they can really wrestle and they can really essentially act on the mic and stuff, and those are generally your best wrestlers when they can do both. But Logan Paul, like I say, as a wrestler, I think he has potential, but I also, as they kind of make fun of him during the promos and stuff, he's kind of like a part-time wrestler. And if I was somebody who'd worked my way up through the ranks and went to all the shows and all that, and then had to watch somebody like Logan Paul come in and essentially, be propped up so heavily and stuff, I mean, I would probably be irked by that. But I don't know. CJ, LA Knight to me. Oh, LA, like my first, I didn't know who LA Knight was until I started watching more recently here. But yeah, I think he's probably one of my favorite new wrestlers, and I don't know exactly how new he is, but he's new to me. So I agree. I think LA Knight's a pretty cool wrestler. He's one of my favorite. I like the evil Kurt Angle uh, um, The guy leading the Alpha Academy. I like him too. He's kind of a heel, good heel. I call him the evil Kurt Angle because he looks a lot like Kurt Angle. He's a former Olympian wrestler like Kurt Angle. So, and I like some like one of the differences between when I used to watch wrestling and when I watch wrestling now is the women wrestlers get a lot more exposure. Like when I watched in the late '90s and stuff, the Attitude Era, the female wrestlers were basically just there for tits and ass. Their wrestling skills were not fantastic. So for most of them, so that has definitely changed. But I like a lot of the female wrestlers that they've got now, and some of them obviously still look pretty hot. But like Liv and stuff. But I actually have been enjoying a lot of the female wrestling matches. Drew, yeah, I like. I mean, Drew is. Know him somewhat, but and he's been injured, so I saw his match in WrestleMania when he got screwed with the ladder match briefcase, by Damian Priest, and obviously they're building up. I'm going to make a prediction that McIntyre will win the belt from Damian Priest in the upcoming Scotland pay per view, and then we'll end up you know continuing his feud with CM Punk, who probably will eventually end up with the belt once he's cleared to actually wrestle. But yeah, Gable's the one I call the evil uh, Kurt Angle. Eric says, speaking of WWE, I'm excited to see the San Diego Comic Con exclusive. I hear rumors it's a single figure this year. Trying to remember what last year's. Well, yeah. So you're right. I think it'll go to McIntyre, and then probably Gunther and McIntyre will have a match. I wouldn't be surprised if CM Punk screws with McIntyre and causes him to lose the belt to Gunther, but then Gunther will end up. I don't know. It's I don't know how long it's going to take CM Punk to really get back into action, but I feel like by WrestleMania, um, CM Punk is going to be the new champion. Oh, Eric, that's right, the Muhammad Ali double pack, which I actually have that. Yeah, this was last year's. Now, truth be told, I don't really collect wrestling figures. This was actually sent to me by Mattel. I actually may end up giving these away at some point. So, if you guys are into wrestling, that might be a future giveaway. I do have the Sergeant Slaughter, like the one in this line that they did, the Ultimate Edition line with Sergeant Slaughter. That one I have as well, and that one I'm keeping because that's a really great figure. Gunther, I like Gunther too. Gunther is probably one of my like I wanted Randy Orton to be King of the Ring because Randy Orton was one of my favorite wrestlers, back during the Attitude Era when he was with Triple H and stuff. But so I was pulling for Orton to win King of the Ring, but I wasn't unhappy that Gunther won it. So Eric says, I wonder if they'll continue in that vein, Jane, with Ali being involved with Antonio in the box art and Hulk Hogan figure of his Japan trip, having recently released maybe and not keep figure. Sorry, some of those names. And not is it what Inoki? Yeah. I don't know. I have not heard any rumors on. See, actually, to be honest, I've not heard. I've heard a couple of GI Joe classified rumors, um, but I've not heard much in the way of any San Diego Comic Con exclusives. And we're only about a month and a half away from San Diego Comic Con, so I'm sure we will be getting Rhea Ripley in her crow outfit. She wore it. Sorry, I had to laugh. So this was the King of the Ring pay per view, or King and Queen of the Ring pay per view that in Saudi Arabia. This was the first time I watched any pay per view that took place in Saudi Arabia. So when I first saw the women come out and they were wearing these like full on bodysuits and stuff, and I was like, man, that's an ugly outfit for some of them. And then I was like, oh well, they're in Saudi Arabia, so they probably have to be completely covered up. In fact, I was kind of surprised that they were even allowed to, not have to have their faces covered up. Um, and I'm told that I guess the first time they had a pay per view there, they actually had to wear masks. But but I thought that was kind of funny. Eric says, I'm totally disappointed in WWE working with Saudi Arabia. Well, I mean, the thing about when you start really looking at a lot of things in wrestling, I mean, there are definitely, like I say, I stopped watching wrestling back after the Benoit thing, and you know, I'll give Vince McMahon a lot of credit for, he made the industry what it is, but I also have no problem saying that, in my opinion, Vince McMahon is a complete scumbag with no morals, and and it really gets hard to sit there and say, okay, well, I'm going to watch wrestling and I'm going to support wrestling when I know what I'm doing is helping somebody like that become super uber rich. Um, I mean, Saudi Arabia is technically an somewhat of an ally of the United States. I would view it as like this: those a country like Saudi Arabia, where women are essentially treated as second class citizens. Um, you know, the best way to combat that kind of thing is exposure. So when young people who live in Saudi Arabia, who are no different than young people in this country, they're just growing up in a country that essentially treats people differently. But you're helping influence and showing that women aren't second class citizens and stuff. So you know it's not necessarily a bad thing. Yes, is WWE making money from that? Yes, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, because you're kind of exposing young people in that country to things that might motivate them down the line to make positive changes in the country, which is kind of funny when you think about wrestling in that way. Like, wrestling is a representation of America. I mean, in some ways, it's kind of funny to even say that out loud, but I do think there is a truth aspect to that. But also, again, if you really look at behind the scenes with a lot of the things that have happened over the years with wrestling, a lot of people have been used, lost their lives. I watched that Iron Claw movie a couple of weeks ago, and And I mean, that was kind of a depressing movie, if you want my honest opinion. Um, so I don't know. A lot of things in life as you get older, you realize when you start to, when you're a kid and you watch wrestling, it's all the fantasy element and it's great. But then as you get older and you start to see behind the curtain and stuff, then you start to realize not everything is hunky dory. But well, Triple H. Well, thank Triple H. He is the one that does more for the female division than McMahon ever did. He just saw women as sex objects. Yeah, I mean Triple H. I think and I mean I don't know enough about. I mean, I know Triple H. And he married Stephanie McMahon, and I think Stephanie McMahon. I like Stephanie McMahon. But there's always this thought of, well, did all these people just turn a blind eye to everything that Vince McMahon did? And to some extent that's probably true, but they've also done things, like you say, to allow women to become more actual wrestlers as opposed to just sex objects and stuff. So I would like to see Stephanie. I mean, she's been back a little bit, but I wouldn't mind seeing her take more of a on camera role again. I remember back, again during the Attitude Era, where like she became the general manager for a little while and things like that. All right, well, kind of we turned this into a wrestling live stream, but just cool. But I think that's really it for major news for today. So I appreciate once again you guys tuning in. As always, I'm going to probably keep playing with this whole live stream aspect for videos for a little while. I won't swear that I won't go back to doing pre-recorded videos at some point, or maybe do a mix. But sorry, I'm catching comments as they go by. Now my mouse is. Ugh. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in tonight. I'll be back on Friday. We'll probably do another live on Friday. I feel like 3:00 is a pretty good time to do these. So any kind of news that has come out during that day generally has come out by 3. If something comes out later today, I'll cover it in the next video. But it kind of gives us. I just want to check real quick. Let's see if Amazon has fixed the price yet on that Cabal set, and they have not. So I think it's funny because like Amazon's just like, yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. So who knows when they're actually going to fix the price. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to toynewseye.com, marvelousnews.com, JediInsider.com, and tformers.com. And remember, action figures are great,